welcome to episode 62 of Let's Talk Bitcoin, a twice-weekly show about the ideas, people, and projects building the digital economy and the future of money. Visit us at letstalkbitcoin.com for our daily guest blog, all our past episodes, and of course, tipping addresses. My name is Adam B. Levine, and today we're all over the place. Andreas is back on native soil again, educating about Bitcoin and visiting family. He checks in with an interview from Athens-based hackerspace.gr. They talk culture and how easy those early Bitcoins came and went in the days before their value was understood. Then, the battle for your Bitcoins online is often a battle against bugs and those who exploit them to your detriment. The guys at CrowdCurity have taken the bug hunt to an institutional level. We talk websites and wallet security, Bitcoins and bounties. Later, Anthony Diorio is a familiar face on Let's Talk Bitcoin because he's always doing so many things. We catch up about the major Canadian conference they're planning for spring, the mysteriously named and very cool open source CryptoKit project, and more. And finally, where do you stand on the Coin Validate whitelist? I've been talking to a lot of folks and thinking way too much about the topic. We wrap today's show with my explanation of the problem, the project, the players, and the current battle line surrounding this pivotal upcoming issue. But first, let's join Andreas now, live from Greece.
Hi everyone, Andreas Antonopoulos here, reporting live from hackerspace.gr, the Greek hackerspace here in the center of Athens, where we have a fantastic community. I just completed an introduction to Bitcoin to a great audience and got quite a bit of a gathering. I have with me here today Stefanos, who's one of the local Bitcoin users and has agreed to talk to us a bit about Bitcoin. Hi Stefanos, how are you?
Hello, very well, thank you.
So Stefanos, tell me a bit about your experience with Bitcoin. I know you've been involved for quite a while and you understand the technology quite well. When did you first get in?
I think it was around 2010 when a friend introduced me to the project. Mm-hmm. He had just started mining himself and he wanted to find some more resources for mining. He got me really interested into the idea. So I studied a bit the protocol, mostly by studying the source code and see how everything worked.
Right into the source code. It's the best way to study it. Excellent. And so you got in 2010, early days. That must have been a pretty good price for the Bitcoin, right?
It was really cheap back then. Actually, a lot of people just gave their coins away on the Bitcoin forums. Mm-hmm. And it was, I think, around 10 cents or something close to that. Early
opportunity. So let me ask, did you manage to keep any of those original Bitcoins? How did that go for you?
Actually, I didn't. I mined some Bitcoins later on. I brought some GPU cards for that. But after the first large crash of the market, I think it went to $17 or so, and then some account got hacked and the price really went back to nearly zero. I didn't bother resetting up my mining hardware, lost some of my coins in some formats and didn't really pay attention to them.
Okay, you kept some of them though?
Yeah, just a few of them.
Just a few, that's great. At least you got in somewhat early. So you've been involved in Bitcoin for almost 3 years now. Have you been following it consistently since then, or did you fall off and come back?
I fall off, but I regularly, every couple of months, check up what's new, see some research papers that they get published every now and then, and follow up the price.
And lately the price has been rather interesting, to say the least.
It has been extremely impressive, actually.
Yes. So what's your involvement at the moment? Are you mining at all?
Right now, I'm not mining. Okay. I used my early Bitcoins to buy an ASIC miner.
Oh, very good.
Which I'm expecting to arrive this week.
Very good.
So hopefully I will be back in the mining game once more.
Right. Do you think there are other miners in Greece or in Athens that you know of? Do you know other people with ASICs, for example?
I know that we have an ASICs in the hackerspace. We brought it as a donation so that everybody can play with.
Oh, excellent. You have one right here.
Yeah, but it's right now not in the space.
Okay.
One of our members is taking care of it because we didn't really have the dedication to properly set it up.
Right.
And we didn't use it yet.
I see. So there's at least one more. What do you know about the community here? Do you see much activity with Bitcoin?
I don't know many users, but the few people that I know they have mined quite extensively.
Okay. So committed in early startups.
It's morely early. I have met mostly early people that got in the game early on, usually from universities and places like that.
Excellent. So, do you see the community growing? Has the new price level made more people connect?
Well, it's definitely exploding in a sense.
Yeah.
But most people are very impressed by the price of the Bitcoin, and not really in the network or the functionality or what it represents anyway.
So I know that from your perspective, and we've discussed this before, you see Bitcoin much more as a technology and a network than as a currency. Do you want to tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, of course. When I first discovered the Bitcoin as an idea, it was really a brilliant idea of a distributed currency. I was really amazed that it can actually work, and that 3 or 4 years down, it is still working and still popular. And I believe it really has the potential to change the way that economics work on a global level. If not as a user-level currency, perhaps as some backbone for some different banking system or something like that. And perhaps if not the exact same technology, some other technologies derived from this idea.
Oh, excellent. So I think we're very much on the same page there. And I'm beginning to notice that you can tell the difference when people talk about Bitcoins, they mean the currency, and when they talk about Bitcoin, they usually mean the network. And that's a clear distinction because the technology is so much more interesting than the currency. Although, at $600-700, it's not too shabby.
Well, of course, and the Bitcoin network really needs both kinds of people because a lot of the technology and the development, and particularly the ASIC production, which is extremely expensive, wouldn't have been possible without the economic side of the thing.
Definitely, they coexist. What about altcoins? Do you see any interest in altcoins here in Greece?
Well, I know that there has been a lot of interest in Litecoin lately, mostly because it hasn't still caught up, and you can't really mine it as effectively because of the hashing algorithm. So I know a few people that are working actively on that. I know that the Greek Pirate Party can accept donations in Litecoins, and they also provide a Litecoin client that you can use to fund them by donating your CPU time or GPU time.
Oh, yeah.
So Litecoin is quite popular. I have seen a couple more coins, but none of them has. I have also another interesting point is peer-to-peer coin, PPC, I think, which has some extra centralized management kind of structures, but I haven't studied extensively.
Right. Does this hackerspace take Bitcoin donations?
I don't think we do yet, but it's on our plans. It's on our plans, yeah.
Word. Yeah, excellent. That's really good. What do you see as the potential of Bitcoin for Greece? Do you see any kind of special application or possibilities here in Greece, given the economic crisis and things that are going on?
Well, it's an easy way to avoid some problems, mostly because there are services that accept any currency or bitcoins like BitPay, which are really easy to integrate in an online shopping experience and kind of transparently use the Bitcoin network for you. I guess these services could really come in handy as the banks are more reluctant to interact with smaller merchants. But apart from that, I don't think it will play a great role into transforming the economy.
Do you see the possibility of a currency crisis here, potentially kicking up interest?
Well, in that case, of course, there will be a lot of interest, but the general public in Greece isn't that technically informed. So probably they are not really able to fully utilize such a tool.
So it's going to be a niche technology for quite a while here.
Yeah, I believe so.
What about merchant activity here in Greece? You mentioned BitPay. Have you seen any merchants here start to consider integrating Bitcoin-capable cards and e-commerce solutions to sell things? Is there any market for buying stuff with Bitcoin here?
I haven't used any, but some of my friends work in companies that accept Bitcoins. I haven't seen it reach the general public yet, as in big shops or that's hard.
Well, that's fine. I mean, we don't have that pretty much anywhere. With just a few cities, exception like Berlin and Bratislava, where they have a couple of streets. But so a few online shops.
A few online shops do use Bitcoins, and there is a lot of interest in Bitcoins, but that hasn't materialized yet into actions.
So what are your future plans in this space? Are you going to get involved in mining? You said with your new ASIC.
Yeah, I will get back into mining and see get myself updated on the latest news, because I haven't been following the past 2 or 3 months. Mm-hmm. And I also hope to set up a nice way to donate and handle Bitcoins in the hackerspace, mm-hmm. because it's a space run by many people, so there are some trust issues, and we need to see who manages the Bitcoins and how public that entire process is. So I guess that's my current project. Mm-hmm. And later on, I was thinking of some web-based projects for Bitcoins and perhaps integration with some eShops, but that's just ideas for right now.
Do you see a possibility of being able to work in the space and work for Bitcoins? For example, I know you're a programmer by trade and you have language and coding skills. Have you found any opportunities to work for Bitcoin?
No, but I haven't exactly searched for anything like that.
Okay, great. Well, I certainly hope that's going to happen more and more in this future space. And by the way, I have to say, since you are a member of this hackerspace, it is a wonderful community and a space you have here. And I would certainly encourage other Greeks who hear this program to check out the hackerspace. Where can they find more information about hackerspace.gr?
Hackerspace.gr on the site. It has pages about our vision and current projects. We also have a Facebook page, which is regularly updated, but not as live as the week itself. And there's also a public mailing list, which you can find on the site, which is how everyday conversations actually get organized, and you can join in.
I can say from having visited this space, to me it would have been a dream come true if, as a young geek, I had access to the kind of tools, electronics, manufacturing, fabrication capability, rep machines, UAV drones, and all of the other wonderful things you have here. But more importantly, access to a community of same-minded people who I can learn from. And really, this is a really great community you've built.
Thanks a lot.
Congratulations.
It's not just my achievement, though. There are a lot of people that some of them have left by now. Mm-hmm. And this was one of our original goals, was to create a place where we can get people together and particularly help young people that it's hard to find technology-related material in Greece. Mm-hmm. So we really wanted to create this kind of space.
Well, Stefanos, thank you so much. It's been a great pleasure to be here today and discuss Bitcoin with so many people who are very enthusiastic about the topic, and to see this lovely space you've built, and I hope to visit you again.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. It was nice speaking to you as well.
That was Stefanos, and this is Andreas reporting from hackerspace.gr, where I am on the first leg of a world tour visiting Bitcoiners in a number of different cities around the world, and obviously coming back to my original home country where I grew up has been a great pleasure, and seeing the local Bitcoin community, which is young but flourishing and growing, has been a great experience. Reporting from Athens, this is Andreas. I hope to see you all soon.
Hi, listener. Here at Let's Talk Bitcoin, we're building a global network of correspondents able to contribute on-the-ground perspective when cryptocurrency-related information comes across their filters. If you'd like to join our global conversation, send an email with your name and geographic or cultural niche to apply@letstalkbitcoin.com. Just like Bitcoin, the only barrier to entry is your time and good work. Thanks for listening.
EasyDNS is the Swiss Army knife for your domain names, helping meet their customers' individual needs since 1998. EasyDNS has been an outspoken critic of SOPA and CISPA. EasyDNS was an early supporter of Bitcoin, and now they are proud to sponsor this show. Do business with a company that shares your values. Get a 13% discount when you pay with Bitcoin. Go to bitcoin.easydns.com and be sure to use discount code LTB.
With the price of Bitcoin skyrocketing and web wallet hacks in the recent news, security is clearly an important issue in Bitcoin. Joining me today to talk about white hat solutions to black hat problems, Esben Friis Jensen and Jacob Hansen are the founders of CrowdCurity. Gentlemen, thanks for speaking with us.
Thank you.
So your company, CrowdCurity, consults on security issues, but in a rather unconventional way. Can you explain your process?
What we're basically doing is using the concept of bug bounty programs. Some of you might be familiar with the bug bounty program that Coinbase is running, where they are openly inviting skilled security testers to kind of report vulnerabilities on Coinbase app, and then in return they can get rewards. Basically, what CrowdCurity does is we take this kind of concept and then we provide the structure for the company to kind of do it. So instead of creating their own bug bounty program, they go to our site and create it with us. The benefits of kind of doing it with us instead of doing it on your own site, because you still get the benefit of vulnerability submissions by doing it on your own site. So if you don't decide to do it with us, we of course recommend to do it anyhow. By doing it with us, you get a structure, you get a best practice rule set, you get payment management. We handle the payments. We also handle all the tax rules which comes with the payments. So we are talking about testers from all over the world. So there are different tax rules related to that. And we take care of that, and we only send one invoice to the customer. That's some of the things. We're also handling tester questions. Sometimes there are some questions the tester might have about the test. And we're kind of the first level support to handling that. So we're taking away a lot of the admin from the businesses.
Basically, what you're doing here is you're putting out bounties, you're putting out rewards for people who can figure out ways to break the site. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so your company is providing an infrastructure level for this so that companies, when they want to do this, don't have to reinvent the wheel. Instead, they just come to you. You've already got a system in place that works. You've already got a community that, is making money from you, I imagine. So I imagine that you probably have some of the same testers working on one project as another just because it's connected through you.
That's correct. I mean, at the moment, we have around 400 testers signed up via our platform. One can think of it as a bit as crowdsourcing IT security in the way that if you start a reward program, we will go and market that toward the testers. And within a fairly short while, you'll have a lot of testers, security testers, inspecting your site and providing a crowdsourced security test of your site. Of course, the benefit from the testers in this case is that if they find something that might be vulnerable or harmful to a business site, then they will earn rewards for those vulnerabilities.
One of the concerns with this type of approach is that essentially you're inviting attacks. I assume it's legal to do this type of testing, for your testers, because it's like kind of a game here that's being played. Do you ever have a problem where the value of the compromised thing that is discovered outweighs the bounty that's being offered?
That's a very good question. It's a valid concern for many businesses. I think in this case, what we normally offer is that business can do what we call a private reward program, where in this case, we only invite a limited number of testers that we know and have a track record with. But I think that the much bigger question that is important to ask is that a lot of these sites are already under attack and are constantly being examined by malicious users who are looking for ways to kind of exploit vulnerabilities. You're already attracting these users, and I think that's what we're seeing with the various exchanges and wallets being hacked. Secondly, a hacker were interested in doing malicious activity. It will simply not be a very good strategy for them to sign up with our service. They could just go straight ahead and start poking around with the site and trying to exploit some of these vulnerabilities.
So you're saying that the penetration testing is happening really one way or the other. It's just that one way it only is happening for evil purposes, and in this way it might, some of it is going towards helpful purposes.
That's simply correct. I mean, all the sites are already under attack. Basically, what a bug bounty program or reward program really does is that it provides an alternative for a lot of these testers to not do malicious activity with potential vulnerabilities, but giving them kind of a lawful way of earning rewards and reporting these vulnerabilities to the business.
On Bitcoin specifically, Bitcoin and online wallets, there's a saying, secure web wallet. You get 2 of those words, but not 3, which implies that if you want a secure wallet, it can't be online enabled. I've referred to online wallet sites kind of like piñatas, where the more people who use the service, the higher the price of Bitcoin, the greater the prize for whoever breaks it open. Do you think that it's possible, given the type of reward that these wallet services have, to actually have safe and secure, really like trustworthy and secure online web wallets?
In general, I don't think that anywhere you're able to get 100% security on your wallet, neither in the physical world or on the digital world. And we still see banks getting robbed even today. So it's an illusion that you will ever get 100% security. What we should see is that businesses, as they grow and have a larger user base, that the reward size increases, and because they will be more serious about their security. So if you look at, for example, Google and Microsoft these days, they are paying between $20,000 and $100,000 for very serious vulnerabilities, which gives a huge incentives for testers and the whole security community to improve their security and report these vulnerabilities. And I think we will be expecting, as kind of the Bitcoin market and the Bitcoin space is maturing, that more and more exchanges will start running these reward programs and that the rewards will increase. So I think from a user perspective, if I'm a user, I would use a wallet service or an exchange that actively have a reward program, and you can kind of measure how good their security is in terms of how high the rewards are they're paying out. Because the higher the rewards are, the more confident they are about their own security, and the more they are kind of asking for the security community to help them improve their security.
So if somebody is interested in learning more about your service or contacting you guys, what is the way to do that?
We are always reachable by email. You can find our emails on the site, which is crowdcurity.com. And anybody can reach out to us with questions. We are more than happy to answer.
Okay, and last question. Again, we don't have security experts too often on the show, and I am curious, how do you store your cryptocurrencies? Or, what do you think is the right balance between security and convenience?
Okay, I think that is a very good question. And I think really what you're pointing out is that there is a trade-off between convenience and security. I weighed it out. I only store all my Bitcoins in online wallets, but I never have more than 25 Bitcoins in any wallet. And those are spread across, at the moment, 4 different wallet providers spread out across the world. That's, of course, a trade-off between having your Bitcoins in an online wallet compared to offline wallets. The reason why I chose for going with online wallets is that basically for the last 2.5 years, I've been traveling around the world and I'm losing stuff and I'm only having my bag with me. So it's not very convenient for me I don't have a physical place simply where I can stuff in my online wallet or my hardware where my online wallet would be. So I need something that is convenient and out there in the internet somewhere.
Have you ever lost any like that?
So far, that has not happened. But of course, I look very carefully at the providers that I store my Bitcoins with. And let me put it this way, that if they cannot provide 2-factor authentication, I would not use it from a user perspective.
Right, I understand.
Okay, so that was basically how I treat Bitcoins in my personal life and my personal Bitcoins, where I weigh in on the side of having greater flexibility and convenience in terms of online wallets. So how we treat Bitcoins in CrowdCurity is very different. First of all, we don't hold a lot of Bitcoins. The Bitcoins we do hold are in the amount of 5 to 10 Bitcoins. And we use those mainly to pay out rewards for testers. And we buy them kind of in every time that we need to pay out rewards in Bitcoins and then basically use them straight away. So we never hold any large balances of Bitcoins. So once we are in the range of 5 to 10 Bitcoins, we do hold those in online wallets. We go for the most secure online wallets that we can find out there.
You pay the bounties in Bitcoin. What's the average size of a bounty that you're paying these days?
All the bounties are listed in dollars, but we do have clients where the bounties are listed in Bitcoins. And of course, in these Bitcoin bounties, we pay those out in Bitcoins as well. So kind of pure Bitcoin programs. The bounties are kind of categorized into high, medium, and low, where kind of the standard package for high, medium, low is $1,000 for a high reward and $300 for medium, and $50 for a low. So that would amount into whatever the exchange rate is for Bitcoins at the moment that we pay out the rewards. That's the Bitcoin part of it. So I think at the moment it's around half of all our rewards that are paid out in Bitcoins, and the other half are paid out in dollars via PayPal or wire transfer.
Do you prefer Bitcoin relative to the other options?
Of course, from our point of view, it's a lot easier to pay out in Bitcoins because, we can do it a lot faster and there are lower fees. So we are trying to kind of get all our testers to accept Bitcoins. But of course, in order to attract testers, some testers who simply prefer having them in dollars. So we try to push for them accepting Bitcoins, and that also lowers the fee and we can pay out the rewards faster. And I must say that the reason why we have been able to pay out around half of our rewards at this point to testers and Bitcoins is kind of our target group, or the security testers are kind of very tech-oriented and, of course, are early adopters of Bitcoins. So, as over time, I expect this number to increase.
Okay, great. Well, guys, thank you very much for your time. This was very educational, and I look forward to seeing more of these programs develop. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Adam. Have a good day.
Anthony Diorio is the Executive Director of the Bitcoin Alliance of Canada and a familiar face on Let's Talk Bitcoin. Anthony, how are things?
Things are excellent, Adam. Thanks for having me back again.
So listeners know that I love a good conference. We've been hooked at Let's Talk Bitcoin here since the San Jose event. Anthony, I know you're putting on a kind of big event coming up in Canada this spring, and we're hoping to be heavily involved. This is a bit of a ways out. Can you kind of share your vision and why you're starting to talk about it so early?
Our initial plan was to have it in October of this year. And when we were starting to plan it, we only had about 2-3 months to get it going. We wanted to do it before the snow came in, before it got too cold. So we figured it had to be done in a time that wasn't the winter, because we think we'll have a lot of driving traffic here. After we figured we couldn't do it in October just because of the time restraints, we decided to do it in spring and set it up early, get the date booked, get the venue booked, start getting some key speakers here, and the rest will come in time, but it gives us so much time to plan everything and bring it all together.
So you have dates set. What are the dates right now?
The dates are April 11th, 12th, and 13th. So we're planning on like a Friday evening, all day Saturday, and Sunday.
It's going to be interesting. This is literally within days or weeks, I'm not exactly sure what the date is, of the start of Let's Talk Bitcoin. This will almost be exactly to our 1-year anniversary of doing this show, so that'll be interesting too. What is it that you're trying to accomplish with this? Because, different conferences go after different target audiences, different niches, different angles. I know that You're planning kind of a larger event. We've seen a lot of one-day events. Yours is a 2-day, right?
It'll be 2, plus we'll do like a gala dinner, I think, on the night before, on the Friday, as an opening thing with the keynote. So we'll do the Friday evening and then the 2 days on leadership and growing Bitcoin communities. So we're hoping to gather together a whole core of international Bitcoin leaders from around the world. And that's the major theme. The theme is facilitating the growth of Bitcoin communities worldwide and doing that on a local, national, and international, and working together, sharing resources, getting best practices and passing those along, working together. And we're seeing all these groups that are forming right now. We've got Google groups for leadership. We've got, there's a Skype group that's forming right now. So there's all these different ones, and it's going to try to bring everything together here. Let's come up with a resource or a place that we can all just contribute to and let the ideas flow and take ideas and adapt them from country to country. And just basically like that's always been my goal, is to have a blueprint with the Alliance, have something we can pass along, because we've gone through a lot so far. We started this process in April. It's been a long process, but we've learned a lot from it. And people seem to be receptive to the way that we're approaching it. They're taking it, they're running with it, and they're adopting it. And then we want to be here just to help facilitate the speed of these organizations. That's what the main focus of this expo is to get international leaders together and formulate plans to develop these communities. The second one is to see and focus on how Bitcoin is going to benefit the world, charities, how it's going to be affecting Africa. That's the secondary focus. Those are the two things that we're going to be stressing. So each conference does have a theme. Those are the two that we'll be focusing on.
What types of speakers, what types of talks, what types of events? I mean, is this mostly going to be a panel event where there's like lots of people sitting up there and answering questions, or is it going to be more prepared talks, a mix?
The actual talks and how we're going to do it hasn't been decided yet. So the first thing was to get a good core of, say, like 20 speakers. That will be the base of the conference. We've already got a good core from Toronto and from the US. We're now focusing internationally. Now we just got a few more leaders from some of the countries in Europe that are coming over. But the actual talks and forums, we're going to decide that in the upcoming months. What we've done right now is we've launched the website. We've got a great core of speakers. Then I believe the sponsorship and everything will follow. And we're going to start selling tickets and getting the talks and everything straightened out in the new year, so starting in January.
How many people are you expecting to attend this event?
I think we're maxing out at about 700-800 right now. There can be up to 4 theater rooms. There are 2 large rooms. One holds 500 and one holds about 350. And those can be split in half as well to give us 4 if we want. And then there's a large expo center, which has enough space for, I think, between 20 and 40 exhibitors. And that'll be the space that we use the night before for the dinner. And that'll be like the main gathering space. So yes, similar to what was going on in San Jose at the beginning of the year. We're hoping to get more of an international flavor though. That is the focus, is to get people from all over. We're also offering some scholarships. So there will be some applications where we will be providing flight and tickets and things like that to people in either underdeveloped countries, or they've got a story to tell and we'd like to get them over here. There will be a contest for that. Call for abstracts will be going out early next year. We've got the committees that are forming right now, and the program and everything else will be coming in the next couple months.
Well, then we'll look forward to hearing more about that as it kind of matures and develops a little bit more. Thanks for letting us know that's coming. So before this interview, you mentioned that one of the things that you want to talk about is called CryptoKit.
Sure.
I have no idea what CryptoKit is. Can you give me an overview of what that is?
Certainly. The concept stems back a few months. We had a site that had a really secure secret URL system, and it was proven, it was tried, it's tested. We had 4,000 users on our site over the months that we had it. And secret URL systems are a frictionless way to get into your account. You go to a site, you get your secret URL, so it's an individual secret URL, and that's your account. That's how you get back to either a wallet system, or if you're on a gambling site, that's how you get back to your account.
What's an example of a service that somebody might have used if they're using like online web wallets to do things this way?
InstaWallet would have been a perfect example at the time. Now, the problem that they had, and I'm not sure if your listeners know, InstaWallet was an instant wallet service that enabled you to go to their site and be instantly given basically a new wallet. So you go there, you're given a secret URL, and you're given a deposit address. They had a couple issues, though. Firstly, that their URLs were getting spidered by Google. That's a big problem when you're having passwords basically being given out on the internet. The second is that they were holding on to customer funds, and that was a big problem because when they eventually got hacked, which they did, they lost a lot of accounts. I think they had upwards of over 1 million accounts on there. They shut down, and there's really been a void on an instant wallet service. I used them frequently back then. We had always wanted to I'd always had it in my head I wanted to develop a new instant wallet service. And since we had developed a secret URL system, we began working on a project called Rush Wallet. Rush Wallet was very similar to InstaWallet. It had a secret URL system. We knew what to do so it wouldn't get spidered with Google. And the key thing is that we weren't holding on to any customers' funds. So everything was going through blockchain.info's API. There were no stored funds on our end. Everything was client-side, so nothing got sent to any servers. We had no access to passwords. We were never given the passwords, and we don't want to hold on to people's passwords or funds. So we took Rush Wallet to a beta a few months ago, and it was well received. And then something happened with the blockchain API, and we kind of shelved the project for a bit. Then about last week, my business partner came to me and said he'd been working on something. And what he showed me was an extension for Chrome that was incorporating blockchain.info credentials and allowing you to put in your username and password, and you now had a browser-based wallet just from an extension. So you would click on the extension in Chrome, it pops open your wallet, and it pulls out any Bitcoin address that's on the site and puts it in a bulleted list right in the wallet, which makes it the easiest, frictionless system to make Bitcoin payments. So what you do is you can go to any Bitcoin site with an address, it pops up every single one on the site, you bullet the one that you want to make a payment to, you put the amount you want, you press enter, you've now sent a payment to that address. It no longer requires you having to go back and forth from websites or going to blockchain.info and logging in and then putting the address in, copying, pasting, going back to another window. It keeps the wallet on the side of your screen, and it shows the main website that you want to make a payment to. You pop it open, make a payment, you close it, and you're done. It's really simple. So we then incorporated our back end of Rush Wallet that we still had, put it into this extension so we don't even need to rely on blockchain information. So it's not your blockchain account you're setting up. Pretty much you install the extension, you open it up, you move your mouse around, and it randomly generates a private public key pair. From there, you've got a wallet in about 5 seconds. So it's the easiest system to actually go get a brand new wallet.
Now that you've described it, I actually did use this. It just wasn't called this at the time. I think it was just called Rush Wallet Plugin at the time or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. We just branded.
So this is a really easy way to use Bitcoin wallets. And, I am someone who does not ever use web wallets because every time I hear about somebody losing money or getting hacked or something like that, it's always from these web services. And so I've started describing them as like piñatas because the more value that's in them, the bigger the prize is for breaking them open so that they get broken open. Does this actually fix that? You said that it stores the keys locally. Sure. So why is this something that isn't being done by someone like Blockchain, or why didn't My Wallet do this or InstaWallet?
I've shown the guys at Blockchain, and they really, really think that we're onto something. So it's gone, and I've shown it to Roger, I've shown it to Nick. They loved it. When I was in New York City, I went to the conference there, the Inside Bitcoins, and they had the guy from the web standards. Was it W3 Web Standards? Was there?
Manu Sporny.
That's right. His main point was that you need to get this into the browsers. Once you can get this into the browsers, it can get the mass adoption and acceptance, because then it makes it extremely simple for people to make payments. So that's always been in the back of my head. Just coincidentally, my partner started working on that and brought it to me just a few days ago. We're ready to launch this in beta mode. It's, in my opinion, the easiest, simplest way to get a web address and web wallet. It's the most secure in that we don't store any passwords. It never gets sent to any server. We're not holding on to anybody's funds. You instantly make deposits. You pop up a QR code in your little wallet. You can first off fund it from any other wallet, and now you've got Bitcoins in your extension. It stores your credentials. You can put a password on it if you like. I'm all about frictionless services and making things easy for customers to use. That's the whole step. And I think logins and passwords are a pain in the butt, and if you can avoid them, to do that. So this can store it right in your extension, and you're making payments in 2 seconds. And that it actually drags and pulls up any Bitcoin address that's on that page and puts it into a very simple, easy list for you to select a payment of, has huge implications. We can now tie in any digital media and descriptions of that media that's on that page and pull it up right into your wallet in a list of products that you might want to purchase and start buying. This could not just change Bitcoin purchases, but could actually change the way that shopping gets done online.
Okay, so I think that you're definitely onto something. I totally buy all of these arguments. The natural counter to this is, of course, what happens if your browser is compromised?
If your browser is compromised, it would almost be a keylogger. That would be the way that it could be compromised. So any other web service that you go to, or web wallet, it would be dealing with the same issues. Okay. So this extension, again, that it sits on your client side and that no information does get sent anywhere, is pretty secure.
When you send a payment through this, does it, do you have to enter a password, or is it literally anyone sitting at your computer can pop this up? I understand that someone would have to hack in with a keylogger. I'm asking, can you encrypt these wallets? Because you weren't able to when I was testing it out, and it seems like that would be an important layer.
There is a password. So when you actually set up your first account, the password's not set. One of these settings is to enable a password. So for me, I'm the only one on my computer. It's in my house. I don't want to have a password on it. Again, frictionless thing. I like just being able to open it, go make a payment. If I want the option to, I can set a password, and now every payment that goes out would require a password to do it. As well as also, if anyone tried to reset the account, it would require that password that's there, or you wouldn't be able to reset the account. Now, the other interesting thing is that we also have implemented a brain wallet system there. So when you go into the extension and you set up a new account, it gives you the option to put in a brain wallet. So you can use a phrase there. That can be your account. You can then take that phrase anywhere else, install the extension, and put your brain wallet in. Now you have access to your funds too.
Very interesting. Are there any, it seems like any vulnerability that impacts this would also impact any other wallet that's installed on your computer, because a keylogger would grab anything, because it's just essentially grabbing your password and then being able to compromise that. Are there any weaknesses to this besides that it has more in common with a web wallet?
Well, you can get rid of that keylogger issue, because we also are implementing a keyboard pop-up where you can then use your mouse to click on the key. So that would actually negate the keylogger aspect of that. So that's what Blockchain does, for example, for their secondary password on your account, is they'll pull up a keyboard, and you have the choice to use your mouse to select and put your password in through a visual keyboard on the screen. So that even gets rid of the keyboard aspects of things. So what we've done is we've created the easiest, simple to use wallet to set up, easiest, simple wallet to make payments, all client side, so no information gets sent. We don't store anybody's passwords, all put into this package we call CryptoKit. And the reason we call it a kit is because not just are we a wallet, we've now implemented the simplest, easiest to use GPG encryption messaging and communication system built right into the wallet. Once we've got the payment system and the wallet, now we got communications. And getting that GPG encryption key now opens the doors for so many other things. We can now use encrypted conversations, chats, video. We can incorporate Gribble. We can incorporate any open source software, like there's one called Mailvelope that allows you to do GPG encrypted using your Gmail, Outlook. So we actually have a system that is securely NSA proof in terms of messaging right now. We will then be incorporating something similar to CryptoCat right built into the wallet as well or into the kit. We will then be a source of identity. You could actually have proven identity on our system. You'll have a payment system, and you'll have communications all built into one. And when you have those three things together, you've got a very powerful toolkit, which can then implement into a social network. So we've got friends list now where you send me your GPG key, it goes into my friends list inside the kit, and I select your name, I send you an encrypted message, you get a little notification in your extension where you get a sound and you get a little one that pops up and says, you've got a new message. And you open that up, it's encrypted all the way till it gets to you, and then on your client side, you've got your keys to unlock it and view it. So it really is a powerful kit. We're really excited about it, and we think it really could be a revolutionary thing for Bitcoin.
It sounds like a very impressive package that you're putting together. So again, like the last time, when you showed me the prototype, it was a prototype. So where are you actually in the development cycle of something like this?
Okay, so the messaging system, the GPG key system, which will be the key for all the other encrypted services, is in place. We can now send secure communications to anybody else using GPG in two ways. You can copy and paste a GPG message and put it into an email, or we send it right through our system. If you were to provide me with a GPG public key, I import that key into my kit. You just imported Adam's key. It puts you in a list. Whenever I want to send you a message, I would click your name, type it in, hit send. You get a notification on your end, on your browser extension, a little one that pops up and a sound. You can then view that message on your end. That's where we are. We're starting to implement the chat. We're starting to implement the mail system, email encryption. We're planning to get this out in beta very soon. It's actually ready to go to beta. We're going to be looking for a closed beta and try to get some people to audit the code for us. We want to get some good backing of people in the community to say and give their seal of approval on what we've done. We're very confident in it. My partner is, I'll say it, he is a genius. He works in ways that, in a speed that I've never seen anybody do. And we've also been told we've been able to do 2/3 of what Dark Wallet is trying to do right now, and we've done it in a few days. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure if you're aware, there's meetings in Milan going on now to decide how Dark Wallet's going to proceed. We've actually done a big chunk of what they're trying to do already. I've reached out to them, and I'm hoping to get some communication lines open with them and see where they're thinking with this. The only thing we haven't done right now is the mixing service. We haven't even looked at it yet, but I don't see it as really being something that we can implement down the road.
That's fascinating, Anthony. Every time we talk, you've got so many projects going on, and you seem to be implementing on them pretty well. That sounds fantastic. And again, the project that you're working on, is there going to be a company backing it? Is it just going to be an open source project that you work on and then release into the wild for projects like Dark Wallet to continue? Or
Sure.
What's the game plan?
The game plan is this. With extensions, they are open source, so anybody can view the whole code of an extension. Our goal is to we're going to push a video out explaining the features on it and how it works, and then a call for a closed beta. So that's our first step. The second step is to get our product branded and supported by people in the community that can stand behind the system and believe in it. So I'm putting my name behind this. I've spoken to a few other people that really like it. I may approach them to get their name behind it to say that, listen, this is a secure system. We really believe in this, because that's what's lacking with a lot of businesses in Bitcoin. It's the professionalism. And we want to get a professional marketing company and branding company working on this right away. We want to come out and do things properly. I'm really all about user experience. I'm really all about customer support. And I think it's crucial to have companies that are doing this in this space, because every time we see someone get hacked or a situation where customer support is lacking, it really is a negative aspect on the community. And I'm all for community building and seeing what we can do and how Bitcoin is going to help things. So it's important for me to do this properly, professionally, and with backing of people that believe in our product, that are respected in the community. And we think that we can then give and offer an amazing system to Bitcoin users that's going to help speed up the adoption rate of Bitcoin, because it's what's easier than just having it right in your browser and making your payments without flipping back and forth from any other wallet system.
Right. I mean, these usability issues certainly are coming to the forefront as the price goes up. I mean, it all becomes just so much more prescient. Anthony, we've gone over our allocated time. I do want to ask you one quick question, because we've reached out to the Bitcoin Foundation for a comment on CoinValidate proposal, which is essentially a whitelist proposal of approved addresses, identity verified transactions. Does the Bitcoin Alliance of Canada have any sort of comment you're able to make on that issue at this time?
We're having a board meeting tomorrow night. On the table is our policies. That's what we're going to be discussing, because we think it's very important to come up with clear policies from the start. The Alliance is launching to the public on November 30th, so our membership structure and our nation builder community building platform will be launched on the 30th. And we think it's really important to come up with our policies right at the beginning, where they're very clear cut, and they'll be everything that we reference back to. So that's going to be some heated discussion on that tomorrow. We will be talking about the coin validation and the lists, the blacklist and whitelisting. I can't give you any comments of what the group will decide after, but I think what we will be able to provide is our policies and make them clear for our membership and clear for people that this is where we stand and this is how we will be moving our organization forward.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time, Anthony. I can look forward to your continued work. And again, at the pace that you're going, I imagine we'll be talking again sooner than I can think. So,
great chatting with you, Adam. Thank you.
Is the Bitcoin price in a bubble? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. Bitcoin video passes are on sale. Normally $75 for those paying in US funds. Visit bitcoinvideopass.com and spend only 0.1 to 0.2 Bitcoins, 0.12 Bitcoins at the time this was recorded, to access all the talks and panels from the October cryptocurrency conference. See how easy buying with Bitcoin can be and experience instant access as soon as you've paid without even reloading the page. Check it out at bitcoinvideopass.com.
Hi, this is Jason King, founder at Sean's Outpost, and you are listening to Let's Talk Bitcoin. Sean's Outpost is a homeless outreach in Pensacola, Florida, and we are proudly powered by Bitcoin. To date, over 13,000 meals have been fed to the homeless in our area, all purchased with Bitcoin and through the generosity of the cryptocurrency community. Read more about us at seansoutpost.com. Food, shelter, Bitcoin, everybody. Sean'sOutpost.com.
I don't know where you stand on the CoinValidate issue, but it's a pivotal fight that has the potential to destroy Bitcoin's network effect, or give it the mainstream legitimacy it needs to propel cryptocurrency into global use. I have friends in both camps, and they all speak with equal and opposite passion. It's entrepreneurs versus idealists all over again, except there's a splinter group within the idealist camp who find their short-term goals lining up with entrepreneurs, but with the aim of achieving a very different long-term effect. To quickly go over the issue, as Andreas likes to remind us as often as possible, the most important part of Bitcoin is that it's a neutral protocol. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you're doing, it treats you the same, and every Bitcoin is interchangeable for any Bitcoin or combination of fractions of many Bitcoins. It makes no difference. Enter CoinValidate, the obviously what is needed effort of Matthew Mellon, a scion of the famed banking dynasty. After spending the last few weeks making the rounds in San Francisco and New York, talking to the names and players in the Bitcoin space, he joined with Alex Waters, the now apparently defunct BitInstant CTO. The polarizing leader of the Avalon ASIC project, Yifu Gao, completes the announced executive team. Yifu has been developing a tool for miners to run that basically lets them only accept transactions from addresses on an approved list. This is a crucial piece of infrastructure to make a program like CoinValidate work. To make the system work, they would need to convince miners and large pools to use this mining filter and simply not process transactions that are not on the approved list. This approved list would be controlled centrally by CoinValidate, acting as a trusted keeper. Their role is to associate Bitcoin addresses and legal identities. When two whitelisted addresses do business, their presence on the whitelist means CoinValidate essentially vouches that they have an identity. It remains to be seen if disclosing your identity in all business will be required, or if that information is kept private, but in practice they're the same. A central list of Bitcoin addresses and identities exist, accessible to government and hackers, and the seeds of a mostly mapped Bitcoin network where the promise of a transparent transaction ledger means your privacy is only as good as the keeper of the list is willing or able to deliver. The thinking goes, Bitcoin is a marvelous innovation. It makes the transmission of money cheap and easy compared to any system we have. But it has a flaw that could be fatal. In Western monetary systems, there are controls in place to make sure that certain types of individuals, terrorists and criminals, don't benefit from modern financial infrastructure. Which in practical terms means there are transaction limits, suspicious activity reports for every banking customer who deviates from their normal and acceptable use pattern. This infrastructure relies on it being impractical to deal with legacy currencies like dollars in a peer-to-peer fashion. After all, how many people would shop on the internet if the process for paying for it was to put your cash in a stamped envelope and mail it directly to the merchant? In the days of Sears catalogs, this may have been normal, but now it's not safe. That, and we lack the patience. Bitcoin, with its online P2P nature, has no reason to do any of these things. Christianity's 10 Commandments, chiseled on many stone monuments around the world, has as much power over its adherents as Bitcoin's blockchain. They can't force you to follow the rules, but only those who do follow the rules can call themselves participants of the system. So with that as background, the sides line up like this. Idealists look at the CoinValidate proposal and say, this is terrible. Even if you only get less than 10% participation, once the foundation is in place, it'll be easy for national governments to simply declare it illegal to make transactions with addresses not on the whitelist. Which means that anything not on the whitelist is de facto on the blacklist. Entrepreneurs say, are you crazy? There'll just be two systems, a whitelisted part where all identities are approved and transactions logged for tax purposes, and a non-whitelisted part that's like the current state of affairs. A bit of Wild West, lots of fraud, people happy to not pay their taxes, and no consumer confidence to be found because of those things. The slippery slope argument is tempting. In reality, I don't know who here is right, and even if it's worth talking about. These divisions in the community enamored with Bitcoin are not surprising, and in fact, it's a little odd relations have been so cordial to this point. Bitcoin is neutral. It's different things to different people, and yet Bitcoin never changes, so this value is found in each individual who learns. I did want to mention the third group I've noticed in this conflict. There's a strain of idealists who view CoinValidate as a good thing and desired thing, because they think it'll make Bitcoin fail. Not fail as in crash in value, mass wiping of wallets, GPUs and ASICs lying dead in the street, dedicated water cooling systems spasming viscous liquids into darkened storm drains, but the understanding by users of cryptocurrency that Bitcoin has been compromised, and it's time to abandon ship. In any free market, but cryptocurrency specifically, events in one part of the ecosystem inform the development of others. People going the way of blacklists would catalyze the equal and opposite reaction. We're already starting to see it in the announcement of the much lighter weight Zerocoin chain, not waiting for Bitcoin implementation at all, just going for it as an altcoin that will allow for on-blockchain coin mixing, which makes this sort of tracking impossible. Luke Dash Jr. has led the charge from a different angle, releasing a piece of software to counter that released by Yifu. Where CoinValidate's contribution would only process transactions from addresses on the approved list, Luke's release does the opposite. It forbids miners from processing transactions to addresses that have already received a transaction. Simply put, Luke's change would mandate that every transaction made through the Bitcoin network use a new receiving address, which makes tracking funds exponentially more difficult, and anything resembling a whitelist, which relies on repeated use of the same approved addresses, flatly impossible. I don't know where you sit on CoinValidate, and I'm not really sure where I sit either. I take comfort, though, in knowing that controversial proposals like this, even when done by private companies, have a tangible and immediate reaction from the passionate community building the future of money. And I look forward to what comes next. Thanks for listening to episode 62 of Let's Talk Bitcoin. Hackerspace.gr was produced by Andreas M. Antonopoulos, edited by Adam B. Levine, and featured Stefanos and Andreas M. Antonopoulos. The segments CrowdCurity and CryptoKit were produced and edited by Adam B. Levine. CrowdCurity featured Esben Fries Jensen, Jacob Hansen, and Adam B. Levine, and CryptoKit featured Anthony Diorio and Adam B. Levine. The CoinValidate Quandary was written, produced, edited, and performed by Adam B. Levine. Music for this episode was provided by Jared Rubens. Questions or comments? Email adam@letstalkbitcoin.com. Have a good one.